Okay. Want to make sure that everybody has audio, and we do. And here we are, folks. This is the supplemental lab that I spoke about, and I'm gonna go through again the salon, which is that spreadsheet tutorial that's due the 10th of August at 6 p.m. And just wanted to show you again a little navigational. This will have some resources and so forth, and then when you're ready, you can pop that back up so you don't have a bunch of clutter in your screen, excuse me. And let me also say, make sure you put yourself in full screen so you can see everything. And in addition, obviously, you'll want to adjust your sound, your audio output to what makes sense for you. Here's the course schedule. As I mentioned last night, here's a list of resources for that. And then there's the course schedule. Now, if you're wanting to, you can also see over here the to-do and coming up. These are typically assignments. And if you also, another place you can see where stuff is due, the flow of things, okay, is over in this course syllabus. This lists them all, when they're due, what day, and what time, okay? And I'm just going to click on this one first of all, and it will tell you this is a workshop. It's worth 25 points, and where to submit your assignment, okay? Now, you can also go up into the assignments area, and you'll see those assignments listed by date, and you'll pop that open, and then close it. Close that little module there, okay? That's just some navigational stuff for yourself. So I'm going to click also on the files, okay? And we're working with Tamika's Tanning Salon, and I want to make sure that I note some things for you. If you go to the table of contents, you're going to see that the book has 5 parts. The first part deals with spreadsheet cases. The second part deals with database cases. We'll be using Access. Part 3 is web development. We're not going to do any of that. And part 4 involves tutorials. And page 252, which is Tamika's Tanning Salon, is one of those is a spreadsheet tutorial. Okay, and then you'll see part 5 are glossaries. So you'll want to take a look at that. And I'm in the big book, the big green one, in the MIS cases, Lisa Miller. Okay. And when we do these lab sessions, and if you listen to a live class session where I'll get into a lab and get us ready for, yeah, I try to use the live class sessions, whether you come in and attend it or not, to set up what I'm going to do in the supplemental lab session, because that's what this is here. As I told you, I'm going to do the live class session. You can attend her if you want to or you don't. Then I'll do a supplemental lecture session, and that will get us to the 4 hours of instruction that you're supposed to have each week, okay? So I'm chunking it out for you, and the only time that I really want everybody to attend that are the last 2 sessions of the course. Those are what we call plenary sessions, and I definitely want you attending in those. And you'll notice I'm doing a screencast, I'm not doing a video, and you'll notice when I do these supplemental sections, I move fairly rapidly because you can replay it and all that business. Well, over in 252 through 256, we got the tanning salon, like page 254 is the price list. Then then over on page 255, we've got the information specifications, and those are listed there, those 3 things. Then the tester design piece, and we got some background about Tamika's Tanning Salon. You know, over on page 253, you see their daily sales activity report. Okay, the item, the unit sales, and the dollar sales. Now, you say, okay, what should I upload for the assignment that's due on the 10th? Because by August the 10th, 6 p.m., you should have uploaded, okay, the file for the first assignment. And here we are, the spreadsheet tutorial, okay? That's what's due this week. Now, I'm going to go back to the files section, and we're going to search for files called Salon. And there they are. There are the 5 files. I mentioned those last night, okay? Any one of those can be uploaded because it tells me you have, you either attended or looked at the live session, the class session, the live stream last night. You looked at the recording, or you were there, or both. And then you've looked at this. So any one of these 5 would be fine, okay? All I ask you to do is just attend and then submit what I show you to submit. As I mentioned before, these are workshops, so I'm going to take a finished product and break it down for you and show you how it's put together, okay? I'm going to save you a lot of data input, a lot of data entry, formatting, and stuff. That's all there in your book, okay? And if you want to see, you can always take a file and open it and construct it. And I'm going to show you this for a minute. Here's Salon Complete, and I'm gonna download this to my computer. Okay, and it will enable. And I'm going to click Save As. And you say, why are you always emphasizing put it on the desktop? Because that's going to be the easiest place to find it. I'll put that on the desktop and it's there. Then, of course, you can increase your magnification up to a level that's useful to you. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the design of this spreadsheet. And let's look at the tab, this workbook. Let's look at the tabs for a moment. We've got a price list, okay? This is what we would call a dimensions table, and really we have 2 dimensions here. One is the item, okay, and the other are the prices. Now, if I want to know how did they make the ribbon look like that, it's real simple. Click there, and you'll see, for example, this is cells A and B have been merged and centered, and then Tamika's Tanning Salon, the font that's used, okay, and then the fill, and it shows you that, and it shows you the font, the type, and the size, and it's bolded, and it shows you the alignment. So you can look at this and see, okay, how it's done, and these are what I call breadcrumbs or documentation, okay, and I'm a great believer that when you find something that works, you know, save it, because you can always copy and paste this, and then just simply put in new input right in there. And we'll click here, and notice what we've done. We've gone from a font up here of 26 down to a font of 16 down to a font of 11. This is 26, then we reduced that by 10, and then we reduced it by 5. And you say, what are you telling me? What's the point here? The point is this. When we design a spreadsheet, okay, that we want to use as a dashboard, we always understand that people tend to look at these files in 2 directions, at least in the Western culture. We tend to read from the top down and then left to right. Just like you open a book, you look at the top of the page, you read down to the bottom, and then you go to the next page going left to right. Same story here. That's why you have a shutter bar, lets you go back and forth, and you have this bar over here, lets you go up and down if you care to. And you can reduce the size of that formula bar or make it as big as you want. And we also have this principle of we have input, that's what's in the formula bar, and then the output, that's what's displayed here. And so what we're doing is we're taking the reader's eye, the end user, their eye, and we're moving them down to the specifics. I'm going to diminish this for just a moment, and I want to go back over here to the to home. okay? And I think I had Anscom's. We talked about the analytical cube last week. And I think, let me see if I had Anscom's quartet in here. No, we didn't. We looked at business models. I have an article in there in the files, I'm pretty certain I do, on Anscom, or I have a link to the resources there. I'll close this back up, diminish it so we don't have a lot of crowding on the screen. And I'm going to go back into the files section. And there it is. One of the things that I would encourage you to look at, I can't remember what module I stuck this in, but I'm going to open this up. You'll want to take a look at this. This is an article that was written in Statistica back in 1973. In fact, I'm just going to open the thing up here and let you see it for a minute. And I want you to take a look at this. This is the first time that this is written by a statistician by the name of Anscom. Okay, this is an article, and I probably should have downloaded the thing instead of doing this. Got it in PDF format, so I'm wasting time with it, opening it, trying to open the thing up. So I'm just going to close it off here, and then I'm going to download it to my desktop, and you can always get rid of it. Okay, it's going to open up for me. I want to show this to you, the PDF. And this is from the American Statistician. This is the original article, 1973. And basically what he says is this. Anscom says, we've come to the point now, again, this is 1973, and I'll date myself. I read this article when I was in grad school, and it was part of our required reading. But basically what he says is we have this ability to compute data. We have these things called spreadsheets. They were just starting to be developed. And we need to be able to make sure that we don't get lost in table after table after table of data. In other words, that we add visual acuity and that we are visually correct in how we present things, okay? And I'm going to close this off for just a second, and I'm going to show you Anscom's quartet. That's a term that people use. I'm going to download this, okay? Now, here's the point. The display of data, okay, is exceptionally important. And as I said before, we learn about the analytical cube, and that's going to be that working with the database cases, and then a spreadsheet application, which is Excel, in order to build our dashboard, in order to monitor key performance indicators. Okay, now this is Anscom's quartet, is it called, and what he has are 4 sets of data that if you notice, they have the same mean, the same mean, okay? These are 2 sets of data, X and Y, and the same population variance and the same correlation. So these are 4 tables of data, and they have the same summary statistics. But what he pointed out is that the data are not distributed uniformly. Although they have the same mean, the same variance, the same correlation, they're not distributed the same. And he shows us, and this is really a summary of what's in the article. You click on chart 1. Here's data set 1. Here's data set 2. Doesn't look the same as the other, does it? You can notice this is showing this is a scatter diagram. Here's chart 3, and we see even more. In the red line is the little line of best fit, and those are the data. And then look at chart 4. The whole point being, okay, that we have to make sure that we present data visually in a way that's meaningful and not just rely on tables of data. And that's one of the reasons in this Tanika's tanning salon case that they want to see a bar chart. Okay, so I'm going to close this off, and I'm back here at Tanika's tanning salon. Okay, and this is the Salon 2 file. And so we've got this price list, and then we have a summary. And we'll go back over it again. Notice we've got Tamika's tanning salon. We have that principle. We start at the top, then the reader will look down. Okay, these are like headings in a book. And then we have the plan type, which is a dimension. Then we have the items. Then we have categories. And these SC are for sessions, SP is for specials, and then PR is product. Okay. And then we have FC, which are fitness memberships. And then we have an area for total daily sales. Now, notice what we've done here. We have week 1 units, week 1 sales, and the units times price of the sales. Now, I'm going to move this for a minute, and let's click in this cell. This is 109, and notice we've used cell referencing. We've used a chain. So we've done a value chain to start to build some meaning. And remember last night I spoke about in the Perelson textbook, they talk about that notice of the idea of a value chain. When we work with data and we have an IT approach, or we're building data for decision making, we take data and we string it together and summarize it, and then we begin to analyze it. So we're in the process now of starting to summarize this data. And for week 1 units, notice I use a cell reference to data in another sheet. And the worksheet is week 1. So it says get R5, that is the cell R5 from the week 1 worksheet, and then display it. And there it is. Now we do something interesting. Here I go back to week 1 and get what's in the contents of cell S5 from the week 1 worksheet. Excuse me. And say that 7 times and not get yourself in trouble. And you'll see, notice something. Here's the display. Here's the input area. Here's the display. In other words, those processes. Okay? And so we've done that. Now, we've got the weekly units and sales for each week, okay, per product. All right? So we've got those totals, and we're going to scroll on over here for a moment. I'll bring this down just a bit. And I want to get the total units. And that's going to be simple. I'm going to equal sum. And I'm going to get that cell, C5. And then I'm going to get E5. And then I'm going to get G5. And I'm going to get I5. And I've got the 4 weeks. Now I want you to notice something. Up in the formula bar, I've got the formula equals sum. I use the sum function. Okay? And notice that the cells have different colors. This is to add what we call a breadcrumb, or a GUI, graphic user interface breadcrumb, that lets me see what I've done. And Excel is a good product in the sense of showing me what I've been working with. Okay? So I can see that, and then I just simply enter this. And if I want, I should be able just to simply drag and drop this all the way down to get the total units for everybody. We'll see if we do that. And there they are. Okay? And we'll see this. And we can just click cell by cell with CE5. And then everything here should be CEGI. Those are the columns. And then all that changes is the row. So far, so good. Now let's look at week 2 sales. here we had R5, and this should equal. Okay, so we're going to do this equal week 2, and this should be S5 week 2, and then we'll have the S5. Let's see if we get our figure. Got an error there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to be the lazy. I know I need to go to week 2, and I'm going to get S5. Okay, so I want to get equal. I want to get the S5 figure. So I'm here in the formula bar. I'm put equal. Then I'll come over to week 2. I'll get S5, and voila. And there we are. And I can look at the math on this, and I can see. So notice what I did is equal week 2. Week 2 is in a single parenthesis. Then I forgot to do this, the exclamation point that indicates, hey, this is a spreadsheet. And then, well, what cell did you get it from? We got it from cell S5. So now we're ready to do the total sales for the, and this is simple. We're going to go through that same process. Equals sum. I'm up here in the formula bar, and I'm going to take D5, and then I'm going to get F5, and I have a sense of how these are arranged out, and then I'm going to get H5, and then I'm going to get J5, and I've got my 4 weeks. Now I want to stop for a moment. I want to make sure I look to see that, yeah, the sales for each week, they are colored. That means they're hot. That means I'm using it. Okay, again, that's that thing of breadcrumbs, and I'll click enter. And then I'm just simply going to scroll down, do the drag and drop, and there we are. Now, if I want the totals for them, I can just simply run a total all the way down here, and I'm going to get, in many ways, the number of units is nonsensical. Okay. Now the sales dollars, that's another issue. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to work with just the sales dollars because they're dollars. Those are meaningful. You say, why aren't you going to go ahead and add these? Because I already have over here. I've done this horizontally. And now I'm going to provide, so I have the units. This is the summary for the units. Okay. And there's really no sense in adding all of those for a very simple reason. They're all different products. But when we talk about money, which is what we are here in sales, that is all the same type of data. It's currency. So I'm going to put equal sum. Okay. And I'll click that in. There it is. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Say, couldn't you paste this for me? Yeah, if you're an advanced user, you could paste the formula. I'm old school. I do it the long and hard way. Okay, and then I'm going to come over here to week 4 to get the sum of the sales for week 4. Boom. Notice when I click on that formula bar, it will show me what all I've included. Okay. Now I have a little bit of an issue here. Now, as these data were inputted, I don't have them formatted in terms of currency versus just a number. So I'm going to click on this cell right here for the total dollars for week 1, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in I can put it in an accounting format, okay, or I can handle it as currency, and I can choose what I want to do up here. And so give me the look, the number, currency, accounting, and I'm going to choose currency. Okay, then I'm going to click back on the cell D23. I'm going to click copy, and then format painter, and I'm going to paint that format. And I'll have to smudge out a bit. Then I'm going to copy again, come over here, use the format painter. I'll copy this on, mess myself up, copy the format painter. And you'll notice I have to move the column out a little bit. And then I'll do copy, format painter. You saw the same phenomena there because the cell just needs to be widened to accommodate that. And then I'm going to get the grand total. I can just highlight all of that if I want, and then do the auto sum, and it gives me that. And I will copy, format painter, boom. And everything's, I like the currency, with all due respect to my colleagues, I like the currency better because it takes up less space. And you always need to understand something. With spreadsheets or a document or a view from running a query anytime, overcrowding the screen can be extremely problematic for you, okay? Now, one of the things that we've not done here is really add one more element here, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my cursor here at cell C5, and I'm going to highlight it all the way over, okay, to L23. I'm going to come up here in the borders area, and I'm going to make all borders because it just makes it easier for the person to see. Now I'm also going to do this units. These are subheaders, and I'm going to bold them. And then I'm going to bold all the figures down here, okay? And then I'm going to take product categories, and if we wanted, I could take these product categories and I could use different shading with them if I cared to do that. And I'll show you here for a moment. I'm just going to take everything that's the SE type of category, and I can put that make that purple if I want to really add some visual acuity. And I'm going to come to everything that's special, and I'm going to make that green. Or I don't want the font. I don't want the font. I want the fill. I have a greenish fill. Then I'll take everything as product. Okay, and I'm going to use a red-based type of. So I'll use a salmon, a nice salmon color. Okay, and then down here, everything that's a fitness membership or fitness club, I think probably is what the FC stands for. I'll come back here and I'll put another fill, and I probably will try to use a yellow. I won't use a yellow fill. I think what I'll do is go ahead and use a very light blue. It kind of fits with everything. Okay. Now, the spreadsheet is much easier to see, much easier to do. Now, the one thing I'm going to do is they had separated these sessions off here, these products, using that underline. So I'm going to put my cursor here on cell B9, and I'm going to come all the way across. Okay, and I'm going to put a bottom border So there's a bottom. Well, they already have borders. I'm going to go ahead and put this bottom border here and a bottom border here. This is just to pretty the thing up, and a bottom border here. This is just so we guide the reader's eye. And I have then, and I can go ahead and I'll click copy, format painter, and then I'll paint them all with that format. And then I'll move them back to the middle. Okay. Then I'm going to do copy. Click on this cell, copy, then paint, format. Boom. And then I'll move them back to the middle. Notice what I've done. I've taken numbers and digits and I have them moved to the right. The categories, I'm putting them in the middle. Okay? These are just some fine-tuning kinds of things, and I'll click copy, then the format painter. And that product, I've got a little bit of an issue there. So I want to back that out for a minute. So I'm going to do copy, format painter. Well, copy, format painter, and then hit the product field. And then I'll put that in the middle. And then lastly, we have the FC. And we know we can just do that. So now this spreadsheet looks a lot less imposing because I've added some visualization. I've divided it up by color coding. I've divided it up. I have the categories. In fact, if I want to make sure that the category stands out, I might even go ahead and make that category a little bit larger. Okay? See how much better that is? And now I can tell, here's the SE stuff. Here's all the product, the specials. Here's the product stuff, and so on. And then I have my totals at the very bottom. And if I want to, I can make this look really pretty. I'll come back up here into the font area, and I'm going to put a bottom double border in honor of my accounting friends, signifying that we've got the total, and that's where. So we have the totals. Now remember, I have the total units, which are categorical data. I have the total units for each of these items. I have the dollar sales, okay? And now I've done some work here with this, and I've made this summary look a lot prettier. I've used cell referencing. And in fact, on the total sales over here, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and I may, and I'm just going to play with this so it indicates that it's a total. I'm going to put those in bold. And I'm going to do the same thing with the total units. Put them in bold. And now you can see how I've framed this whole worksheet with the plan type, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, then total weekly product sales. And here what I did is I took K and L and put in that narrative, and then did merge and center, and you can see the bolding. So it looks very nice now. It's real pretty, and it gives me I can see it, and I can see I've got 4 different types of things I'm working with here. I can see the totals that I have. I have the total units, okay, and I have total sales, and I might want to take total sales and move it over. I've got it centered, so let's make sure it stays centered. And there we've added this and added some real value to it because we've added some visual acuity, plus we've done some summarization, okay? And that's really the first step is we get the stuff all organized, then we summarize it, okay? So now we're in the position where we're ready to do a little bit more work, okay? But I want to look back again here at and let's look at these weeks. And again, let's scroll back up for a moment and let's take a look at it. Because remember, we used a combination of things. Here's the units and then the Sunday sales, and we used the VLOOKUP function, okay? V means vertical lookup, okay? And what we're doing there is the vertical lookup, the dialog box. This is the item that we're looking at that we want, the table we want, and the column, and then if we don't declare anything false, times D5. Now to see this again, and look, if you're interested, if you say, well, gee, I'm just not comfortable using VLOOKUP. My friends, listen, there are tons and tons and tons of videos and resources out there. Microsoft Office has resources to show you how to do a VLOOKUP and gives you examples. You can go out to YouTube and see recordings of people using VLOOKUP. And we're gonna look at how it's constructed here for just a moment. And this is another where we're using, and you'll see I get the little drop down in of VLOOKUP, and I get the parenthesis, and then I'm going to click on the dialog box, and this says look up the value. This is the value I'm going to look up, okay? And it gives you a little explanation there. And that's the value to be found in the first column of the table. It can be a value, reference, or text string. Then the table array, okay? The table array means, okay, it says, what cell did I start in that table or that array, okay? And then we define that. So we're going from a specific cell now up to what that cell's a part of. And then we say, okay, what column do you want to pull this from? Because we're doing a vertical lookup. So we're looking at columns, and in this case, it was column 2, and then a range. And it's a logical value. And if we want an exact match, if we want it to be approximate, we'll put true. If we want exact match, we want false. In this case, we want the exact match, okay? And so to get these sales, we took that times D5. So we use the formula to look up the price, and we look at times the number of units, and that gives us the output in that cell. And here you see we're just doing now we looked at A6, this time is A5, then A6, this should be A7, A9, A10, etc. So the whole thing of the VLOOKUP says, okay, what cell within the table is the starting, and typically it'll be what are you looking for, okay? And that's your starting place, and then declare where that what table or array that's part of. And since we're doing a vertical lookup, then what column? And if we want an exact match, we put in false. If we don't care, we put in true, and then we could just get that value. But what we're going to do is take it times the units, and that's how we get, okay, those totals. Now, again, we did some summation here. Same story here. And you said that equals S5. Here we did the sum. And so we see these cells as they go hot. Okay? So this is just some design principles that we want to do. Okay? And so we've got the summary sheet, and we've done that. Now, so we've got that, and this is the salon 2. And we go back over in the case over there to page 255. Okay, now I'm going to do something here. I'm going to work with these data, and we're going to play with them here for a little bit. I'm going to start here at A4, okay, and I'm going to highlight everything from A4 down to L22. I'm going to press Control C, and you see those little curly cues, little highlighting things that shows up that says you've copied this data. And then I'm going to click and create a new sheet, and I'm going to paste, and I'm just going to paste the values. That's all, just the values, not the formatting, not the formulas, just the values, because I'm going to do a little bit of work with it. If not, I'll end up with some cell references, and I may have some problems, okay, if I'm wanting to do some charting or sorting and filtering. Well, one of the things she wants to know is, and number 1 on page 255, she wants a pie chart. We're going to hold off on that, but we're going to look at number 2 and number 3. Based on the total monthly dollar sales, identify the salon's top 2 selling items. So now we've collected the data from these different weeks. We've summarized them, okay? And now we're going to do some analysis. So the process in terms of working with information resources is to collect it, store it, summarize it, and then begin to break it apart and look at it. That's that analytical cube. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to take my cursor, I'm going to highlight all A starting at A1 all the way down to L19. I'll make sure I got everybody. And I'm going to come over here into the editing area on the sort and filter, and I'm going to do a custom sort. Make sure it says my data has headers. Okay, this is the dialog box. And I'm going to do a primary sort, and I'm going to look at the let's see, they want the monthly sales for the tanning, compares the monthly sales for the tanning price. So I'm going to do them on their total sales. And then I'm going to go, and they want the top selling items, so I'm going to go largest to smallest. And what I've done here is what we call a primary sort. If I add another sort, that's a secondary sort, and then we can add even a third one, which is what we call a tertiary sort. But we're just going to stay with the largest to smallest, and voila, and there we are. Now, to make sure that we're okay, I'm going to come over here with these dollar figures, and I'm going to convert them to currency, so I make sure it's just easier to see the data and make sure that it is indeed in descending order it is. And now I know in terms of sales dollars, okay, the salon's 2 top selling items in terms of monthly total sales dollars, and it's these items right here. Okay, so I could highlight them if I care to. Fill. If I want to, I could put a border around them. And there are my 2 top items on the basis of total dollar sales. And I just did this using the 2 most popular. Now, if I'm interested in the least popular, it's also here, because I sorted these in ascending and descending order. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and find the 2 bottom ones. I'll put them, And just to make sure that I'm really kosher, these top two, I'm going to use a green fill. And down here, I'm going to use like a salmon or a light red fill. Okay. So now I know my top two items, and I have my the item that appears to be the least popular. In fact, that's simple. Let's redo this step here. So I'll come back up here and do this. And the least popular, and I'll take that. We'll go back up here. I'm going to remove the banner, this text box. I have no border. And I'm going to put the border right here. Just this one row, row 19. Put up a thick box border, and I'm going to use the salmon color. So I see the item that appears to be the least popular. Okay, and I did this using the sort and filter function. And you say, why didn't you just use a filter and do it like that? Well, that's okay. Filters are really for records. Sorts are dealing with criteria. And so I use the sort because I'm sorting these on the basis, I'm sorting these by category, okay, also on the basis of total unit sales, but because they've been organized per category, okay, I really want to do a sort and do a custom sort rather than just simply use the filters. And so I know that the top two products there, yearly enrollment and yearly fitness memberships, okay, those are the top two products based on total sales, and the lowest, the least popular based on total dollar sales tends to be one session at a time. Okay, now this brings you to some questions, and the first question is, well, are we really doing a fair comparison because the pricing for these is different? Okay, and if we want to, let's go back over to the price list. Okay, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on cell cell B3, and I'm going to hide all the way down to cell B20. Then I'm going to come back to the summary, and I'm going to go here in that cell. I'm working in cell. Trying to move this out of the way. Cell. I'm going to cell M, and I'm going to paste all that. Okay, and I've got the prices. And good for you to escape to get out of that and go back to the summary. Now, I added the prices in here to give myself some perspective, and I'm going to go back to this new sheet. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to click in M2. I'll go back to the price list. I'll copy that again. Price is a dimension or an attribute. Okay, and we'll paste that, and there it is. Okay, and we didn't include them in the sort, so what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to click over here on sort and filter, and I'm going to redefine this so that I get everybody. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get rid of all the formatting, no border, no fill, and everything bold. I can leave everything bold. I could see a little bit better with it all bold, so that's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of messed myself up there, didn't I? Well, I want to know the price for each of these, so I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go back to where I was. Now, if I'm concerned, I made way too much work for it. I want to see the prices, so I'm going to do this. Equal. Come over to the price list. Boom. And then I'll put that in currency. And for these items, put equal. And I'll come over for the yearly enrollment, back to the price list. Boom. And I'll make that. Okay. And then this is for the yearly fitness membership. I'll look at this for just a minute because something isn't right. I've got the yearly enrollment, yearly fitness membership. What have I got here? Let's look at this for just a minute. This looks odd. A fitness membership, that price is okay. The yearly fitness membership is $280.99. All right, I've got something I did wrong here. The yearly enrollment, and then I've got this FC category. I'm going to stop this for just a minute. I want to see. It's $289 yearly enrollment. We'll go back here to price list for just a minute. That's an SP is a special. Okay. Yearly. Okay. That's the special. That's that category. And then we have this equals the fitness membership. This so equal. And we'll come back to the FC, yearly fitness membership. And away we go. So this SP, I'm going to go back over here to the summary. This SP is the yearly enrollment. That's $350. So I messed ourselves up here. So let's do this yearly enrollment. And that equals, and that's the SP category. $350. There we go. So, and then we'll put this into a dollar sign. So the yearly enrollment, okay, in the special category is $350. The yearly fitness membership, which is in the FC category, is $280. Now, I'm doing this so we can see the prices on these, okay? And I'm gonna highlight these since they're important to us because it helps us put these data into perspective, okay? Now, you can see we got some the top sellers are our high dollar volume, okay, sellers, and that is, and then the lowest are the 1 month sessions. Now, this gives us some information. As I said before, IT is decision centric, and just from this now, we have basically a picture that, you know, we have people who are conscious of saving themselves so they have a yearly enrollment or a yearly fitness membership, okay? They want a volume basis. And so we want to be concerned about that, but this does tell us something, that the 1 sessions are nice, okay? But what we really want are these 2, because with this yearly commitment, we're going to be able to do a lot more cross-selling in terms of tan enhancers, lotion, oil, and those types of things. We talked about this some last week, okay? So I'm going to close this file. Now they want us to do the deliverables, and a pie chart compares the monthly sales for the tanning products. Well, okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to click insert, and I'm going to put pie chart. Okay. I've got something called a item. I would get the item category. Okay. And I want to reduce this. I want to change this over to move the parameters of the data. Down here. Then I want to bring them down here, and then I'll bring them up here. Notice I'm adjusting the blue line. Now, there's an easier way to do this, and it's simply to select the data. Now, what it has for me is the item, okay, and I don't care about all that, so I'm just going to delete that. In fact, I'm going to delete all of this in here. I'm going to cut this, in fact. I'm going to click Insert. Now I'm going to do the pie chart. It's going to give me this blank pie chart. And now I'm going to select the data. And they want me to compare the monthly sales for the tanning products, okay? I'm going to select the data, all right? And I'm going to add, okay? And this is the series, and that would be, and I'll scroll over here to get back to it. I want the products. Cancel this out for just a second because I'm kind of getting myself into a bind here. Okay, hang on a minute here. And I want to, I'm going to cancel this for just a second, folks. We'll cut that off. Make sure I've got everybody involved here. And I have the units, but I don't have the categories. That's going to become an issue. So I'm going to go back over here to the summary, okay? And we're going to do it using the summary. So I'm going to click Insert, Pie Chart, and I'm going to click Select Data, and I've got, and I'm going to remove each of these series, and then get what I want. I just click there and I remove them. All these different series. And I'm going to add, and this is the tanning products I'm going to add. So I'm going to want to move, I want to cancel this for a minute, move this thing out of the way. And in fact, I'm going to click, let's see, I'm going to select the data. And I have to go through this whole business again. Or I can move the bars. I'm going to do that. This is one of these issues we ran into. I'll click up here, and I'm going to do select the data. You can see charting in Excel is a pain. Eye chart. I'm going to reduce those data down. Now I'm going to click on the pie chart there, and then I want to select my data. I want to do the design, select the data, and I'm going to get rid of all these series. Series name, and that will be the item. Okay, and then the items will be, and that she wanted us to compare the tanning products. And we wanted the numbers for the tanning products up here. So what the series name will be the item, and then we want the data. This is getting too squinched up, so I'm going to stop this and get out of this for just a second. I'm going to cut this. This is one of these things about charting that can really make you crazy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy these data, okay, and copy them. And I'm going to open up another new sheet. Now I'm going to do paste values, and there we are. And then I have the categories. I'll put the categories here in the middle. It's going to just make it a lot easier to deal with. And it's just one of these things we run into. Now I'm ready to do my work. I'm going to click Insert, Pie Chart. Okay. Now I'm going to select my data. All right. And the legend series, that's going to be, I'm going to add a legend series, and the series name will be total sales, and then I'm going to get the total sales for those 3 tanning products. And I need to get them back out. You can see, boy, this is just a booger, isn't it? So I'll bring them back out. So I want my series, and select the data, and I'm going to add the series name will be item, and then the series values will be for the tanning, and that's going to be starting here at the bronze at 12 and going all the way down to 15. Oh no, there's the tan enhancers as well. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items in our data series. Now let's look at that for a minute. I think we wanted to start. We've got L12 to L17. We're good there. Okay. And then we want to get some category levels, and we'll do that. Click Edit, and the axis label range will be these. And there we are. We're okay there. Now, I've got the tanning items, and I can change that. I'm gonna change that to tanning items. Tanning products. And you can see these are color coded. And now I'm gonna add the data labels. Okay. And I can format the data series, and I can put them into I want to format the data series. I've got them in terms of dollar sales. They want a pie chart compares to monthly sales. Well, I'm going to stick with this, and I'm going to tell you why. A lot of people would use percentages, and I'm also going to go ahead and make them all bold, and then I'm going to set them out. Okay. Now I went ahead and separated these out so you can see. One of the reasons I don't like pie charts, it's quite simple. It just doesn't tell me much. Okay. The proportions are, they're okay, but for all intents and purposes, and I'll just change this back to here, and I'm going to click on design, and I can change the chart type, and it's a pie chart. And we've got these figures here, and I want to try to make them to format the data series, and I want to try to change them to percentages. It's probably no, we don't want to do that. Okay, we could go ahead and get some percentages, but now we've got these data, but the pie just doesn't it just doesn't really do much for me in terms of percentages. And we can look at the second layout. I don't like that a whole lot better, except it shows me percentages. All right. Now I've got that's not too bad. You can see it kind of punched around with the thing. And we can move it as we wish. So we have the percentages accounted for with the tanning products. A little bit clumsy. You saw last night that we used some conditional formatting. We did a little bit of work there. This is not too bad, and I can size this out a little bit, the whole thing. You can see it can get a little bit clumsy trying to get the chart area expanded out. And we've done that here. And we can take those, we're going to format the data labels, and we're going to put them there. They show percentages, leader and leader lines, and I'm going to put them outside the end. Okay. I'll take this and squinch it up a little bit more. And then I'm going to put them all in bold font. And I have my chart. Size it up a little bit more. And there we are. So it shows them by percentage. You can see we did a little bit of work there, and that's the deliverable really that they're after. And then they had a series of other questions in terms of, and those are the deliverables, electronic copy, etc. And then over on page 257 through 270 was just simply the tutorial walking you through all those steps. So we've basically done this, and if you've followed along with me and then you've tried to do some of this work, it's fine. But any of those files that you upload, you can do it. And if I'm really interested in where did all this data come from, it's simple. I click on design, or even better, I click on here. Then I select the data. I can see where the item data came from. I can click on edit and see where all those labels came from for the categories, and we're good to go. Now, click OK, and I'm going to save this, and I'm going to close it off for just a minute, because I have one final I want to show you, and that's that, and we'll search for salon again. And this is the example using Simplex, and I want to download this real quickly. And I'm not at my best today, am I? I'm going to download this. Okay. I'm going to enable the editing. And you see I had all the weeks, and then I had scenarios and days. And here's what I had done, okay? First of all, down here, I did an elasticity study to see about changes in price and then projected changes in volume and what things would look like. And then I had a sensitivity report in terms of that. And I'm going to click over here on data. And what if, and I'm going to look at the scenario manager, and I had done some scenarios, I had read some scenarios here, and the scenario manager is a little bit like GoalSeek, okay? And that is, GoalSeek lets me take one cell and change it, okay? And we looked at that last night. A scenario lets me use multiple values, okay? And in the scenario manager, I click add, and I give it a name, and then I do the changing cells. And I'm just going to do this. I'm going to give this, let's see here. I'm going to call this scenario name. I'm going to call this base. Okay. And by changing cells, and I'm going to look at units sold. And that's the base. And it shows us each of those units. I'll click OK. And then I click show, and it's going to give me this. Now, I'm gonna do a second scenario, and so I'm going to click add, and I'm going to call this more yearly fitness. Okay, and I've got some changing cells, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to find the cells for monthly fitness, and that's going to be D20. And instead of 94, I'm going to say, all right, what if we sell 10% more? So let's say we sell 104. And what will things look like if I do that? So instead of 94, I'm going to change this to 104. And I'll click OK. And then I click show. And boom, it shows me the change there that I get And I can come in and do these scenarios. I could do it for the revenue. I could do it for price. I could do it for units. Okay. I just change those, and you'll see I edit. I just change what are in those cells. Okay. Now the solver is a little bit different critter, and I'm going to click OK on this. Now I'll go back to the base. That's our base. And click Show. So we're back to it. Now, I talked about adding in solver last night, and you'll want to take a look at that. I'm going to go to solver here, and I had said, okay, I'm going to set an objective cell, which is E20. And really what I want is E21. And I want to maximize it, okay, by changing the set of cells and I've got C20 to D20. And I'm going to try this by changing the cells, by changing the pricing. And I'm not going to add any constraints here, and I'm going to call this just simply simplex LP. And I'm going to set a, and I'm sorry, instead of maximizing, I'm going to put a value of 200,000. So what I'm saying is, okay, how do I need to change the prices to get to 200,000 for a target value? And that's, and I use the solver, and I click solve, and it's going to say if it can, it'll give me a solution. Okay. And it's really not much of a solution. So sell a bunch of these items at $1,500, which is nonsense. Don't charge for anything else. So that's no good. So let me cancel that back out. Now I have an answer report over here where we had changed the total revenue, and we put in original values, and this is where we added some constraints. Okay, and I'll look at this for just a minute. The original values, 201, and then I built constraints into that model. We'll play with this a little bit some more later on to get a solution. So you could upload this file if you wish to, or any one of the 5 salon salon files before 6 o'clock on the 10th, which is tomorrow night, and you'll have the 25-point credit. Thank you so much, because I know this has been a fairly lengthy session, and so I'm going to stop the recording here and then end the meeting, and I'll do a short, fairly short supplemental lecture, and I'll be posting this once I record it. I'll be posting it over. So folks, thank you so much, and this will be our very first lab recording, and I'll stop the recording and then end the meeting, and we go. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week, and be on the lookout for that supplemental lab lecture. It will be later today or sometime this week. But I want to get this time-sensitive thing done, which is getting you through this very first lab. So I'll stop the recording.